All right, Kia, I'm back with you. In our last episode, we talked about Kia's early days, about how she got into the hair game and found her way to editorial work. Now I want to talk about the specifics of editorial work, and I want to give the listeners an idea of whether it's something that they should aspire to do or not. You know, it's kind of like the flash and the pizzazz, and it's so sexy, the whole thing. But let's talk about the behind the scenes. Is it really as sexy as what it seems? So first, I want to get, now listeners, if you didn't listen to episode 1, why are you listening to episode 2? Okay. Stop and go to, I was going to say stop the tape recorder. I was literally going to say that. Stop the tape recorder, listeners, and go back to the first tape. No, the first episode that Kia and I did, go back to that one, and you're going to get Kia's story in there and how she made it to the editorial world. And now she finds herself, I mean, you're like at the top. You work with some of the best people in the industry, some of the top designers. You work in fashion shows and, with big designers that everybody knows all over the world. And it's just super duper cool. And as I'm talking, why don't we start there with this episode? Tell us about your a recent fashion show and what it was and who you worked with and what that was like.
Well, let me see. The most recent will probably be Dior. Dior's Runway show, which was about, when was it? What are we in? We're in June. I believe it was in April. I'm on a team, Guido Palau. I'm one of the stylists on his esteemed team. And we created the runway looks for Dior. That was super exciting.
I mean, does it get any bigger than that? It doesn't get any bigger than
that. I guess it might. I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. Especially when you see the runway, right?
Yeah.
You see the hair on the runway and you're like, oh my God, that's amazing. But behind the scenes, we may have to do pre-braiding. So we may have to do that, say, the night before.
Okay.
And it'll be late night.
And you're pre-braiding the model, or you're pre-braiding a wig or an extension?
The models. The models that are actually walking.
Okay, well, she's going to sleep. And do you make her wear a bag or something? You make her wear a cover?
Yeah, she has to protect her hair. So we tie it up for them. But that, sometimes we'll do pre-work. Sometimes it's the night before, and that can be, 8 p.m. to 1, 2 in the morning. Or we can do the pre-work prior to the show in the morning, which could be like a 6 a.m. call time, 5 a.m. call time. Showtime might be 3 p.m. So it's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that people don't see, that we're up all night, or we may have to do a practice look. So we're practicing. So sometimes our prep for shows are 2 days, not 1 day. So it just kind of really depends on the look that is created. I've been on Guido's team now for 3 years. And every season, there's usually at least 1 or 2 shows that we have to do that with. Yeah.
The practice looks?
Yeah, we do practice looks.
So who does the art direction? It's not art. It's kind of like art, but who does the conceptualizing of the look?
That will be between any show. That will be between the lead and the designers.
Okay,
so they
the
usually
fashion
have a
designer,
meeting.
Right?
Yeah, they'll usually have a meeting, and they'll come up with the concept, what the look is going to be, like at the hair test. So they'll do a hair test and a makeup test. They test the look to see how it moves on the runway, how it looks with the clothes. They may say, oh, this is amazing, we love it. Or can we tweak a few things? Or that's not going to work, we need something else. So it just depends.
And the practice looks are on the models themselves, or on
Well, not on the models. We usually do practice looks on mannequins.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, so you're either starting the day before or the night before, or you're starting the very morning of, the wee hours of the morning. And are you guys, you live in Philly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're flying up to New York. Where was
Well,
the show?
the Dior show was in New York.
Okay,
And New York is literally a hour and 22-minute train ride from Philly. So it's
so
close.
super easy for you. So you're not
Yeah.
even, are you sleeping over in New York?
Oh,
Or
absolutely.
yeah, yeah, okay. So you're going there and you're waking up early, you show up. How many other hairdressers on the Guido team?
Mm, 40, 50.
Oh my God. That's like a hairstylist army.
Yeah. It's
That's
a lot.
crazy.
It's a lot.
And how many models? For like a Dior show, how many models?
I think Dior was like 37.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're teaming up. Do you get assigned a model?
No, we don't get assigned a model, but a lot of the times I seem to work with a lot of the same models. Like you kind of build a relationship with models, so sometimes you kind of
Hmm.
work with the same models,
Hmm.
but we're not assigned a model.
Okay, but you're assigned a look,
Yes.
and right, you get this look, and are you working on multiple models for again for like the Dior show? Did you work on multiple models, or you got
You
assigned a look?
you may do two models, three models. It just depends on
Okay.
the flow and the pace and what's happening, and are any models coming from a previous show that are
Mm,
running late? Because that happens a lot. Sometimes some of the models, like the call time, maybe let's say 11 a.m. Show time is 4 p.m. But the
mm.
model isn't there until 2:30. So
Ooh,
sometimes, yeah. So sometimes we have to do like last minute because she has to get hair, makeup, fitted. A lot of stuff
yeah,
has to happen in like that hour. So
right.
yeah,
And okay, so let's say she's coming from another show, and let's say it was like really avant-garde sort of stuff, and her hair is just got so much,
product.
hairspray in it. It's product is it's like glue in there. Are you
Yeah.
washing her out?
Yep.
Yeah,
That
starting
happens so
fresh.
often. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's not glamorous. We have to find a bathroom with,
I was gonna say, where's the shampoo bowl?
yeah, sometimes with shampoo. Yeah, it's not like in a salon. Nothing is like the experience in a salon.
Yeah,
So we may have to, we may be in a hotel. Who knows where we might be. And we just have to figure it out a way to get the model shampooed and get all the product out. So yeah, that's the crazy part that like nobody
wow.
sees. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And what if her hair is too short? Are you adding extensions? I mean, if you have an hour and a half, you don't. That's not enough time.
It's not a lot of time, but when you have 40, 50 hairstylists on a team and then you have five of them working on one model, because sometimes that happens, we can get it done because we have to get it done.
Right.
This is not like, oh, we don't have enough time. We have 8 minutes. We got to figure it out.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've got some horror stories of some things that have happened in a hair show, or I'm sorry, in a fashion show with hair.
Um,
I almost want to jump
it's
to. I mean, normally I'm at the end of the show when I ask this question, but we're at the
right.
beginning, and I just have to know. I mean, this is like a recipe for disaster. It's everything is last minute. You relatively little preparation, and the model comes in, and you guys may not have the things you need. Give us a horror story.
Um, it's so funny. I'm asked this question a lot. And I cannot, I've been doing this 13 years, I think. The only, I don't know if I'm going to call it a horror story, but I can't stress the importance of, as a hairstylist backstage, working on set, working in runway, how important it is to understand all textures of hair. Because if you're going to be on a team with, 20, 30, 40, 50 other hairstylists, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be servicing models, male and female, of all walks
Mm-hmm.
of life, all nationalities, all races. So you
Mm-hmm.
really need to know how to work with all textures. It's vital. And if you can't, it just may not be the best place for you. So I
Yeah.
remember some years back, this was 8 or 9, 10 years ago, I was working on a show, and there was a black model that walked in with a huge afro.
Mm-hmm.
And she was gorgeous. She walks in. I'm working with another model, and I see her when she walks in, and she sits down with two stylists who attacked her head. I mean, it was very uncomfortable, to the point that my lead at that time, he walked over to me and he says, "Kia, do you mind helping out?" And that's when I said, yeah, like everything that they did to prep her hair, because the hair has to be prepped. Same as in the salon. It has to be cared for. It has to be prepped. And it's okay if you don't know how. You can just say, you know what? I don't know how to do that. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, who else knows how to do it that can do it and not damage the model's hair? So that was probably one story that sticks in my head all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the biggest one because the model was traumatized.
Oh, I bet. Was she like like crying out for help?
She
like
was.
Silent cries for help?
She
Maybe
was.
not silent cries for help. So were you able to jump in there and figure things out?
Yeah, I jumped in, and it's so funny because, I work with all textures all the time and have been doing it my entire career. And, that's why I didn't say anything at first. I kind of let my lead handle it because that's his job. But
Right.
when I walked over and was like, hey guys, I can help you out, they got offended. They're like, I know what I'm doing. And I'm like, no, you don't. And it's not about who did what. Like every show I've ever done in my entire life, every model needs to look like one person did it,
That's a
even
good
though it's
point.
50 people on a team. And
Mm-hmm.
it does not matter who does it as long as it gets done. So
Right.
we can't get in our feelings and get personal. Oh my God, she's stepping on my toes. No, I'm not, like I said, I was told to come over here and help you. And instead of saying, oh, cool, I'll watch you, maybe I can learn, we get in our feelings. And
Right.
that's just not
And
good.
no, that's just unprofessional. I mean, these are the big
Exactly.
leagues. This is big boy ball here, and
Exactly.
we just got to get the best. We got to get the job done,
Yeah, we got to get the
regardless
job
of
done.
regardless of feelings. And
It's like,
sometimes
you're
it's
still
hard.
going to get paid if you don't do her hair.
Right. Actually, yeah, if you fuck up her hair, you might not get paid. So it behooves you to get out of the way.
Right.
Yeah. Very
Yeah, so,
interesting. Yeah, so that's the lead's job to make sure that the right person is on the right head,
yeah. But what
or
I
the
love
right
about
people.
Guido's team, what I love about his team is he actually hires hairstylists to specialize in texture. So we have
Oh,
like an
yeah.
entire texture team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So kudos to
Well,
Guido.
right. I mean, I don't know how you would accomplish it otherwise, but I guess people just, botch their way through it sometimes. All
Yeah.
right. So give us some other behind the scenes. So you guys, on the days when when a call time is 6 o'clock in the morning, you're showing up, and I mean, do you show up at 6 o'clock, or do you show up at 5:50, or do you show up at 5:45? You're going to a new place. Let's say you're going to a new place. How do you go about it?
Yeah. Well, I'm always, whenever I'm doing shows or anything like that, I'm always early. Cause one, may never have been there. And I just don't like being late. So even if I go 30 minutes early, I'll go grab coffee, hang
Mm-hmm.
out like, okay, this is the building I'm supposed to go in. This is the entrance, hang out. But I usually walk into the building 15 minutes before
Mm-hmm.
and then we set up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, usually when we walk in, it's usually nothing happening at that moment because call time for hair and makeup is usually maybe 30 minutes before the models even arrive. And that's done intentionally. So we have time to set up our workstations.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the models, we get the casting sheet that tells us who's walking in the show today. So that we kind of know, oh, this one is this person is walking, this person. So we kind of have the casting sheet and then we just kind of set up and wait for the models to arrive. And then as they walk
Okay.
in, we just grab them.
Okay. And you grab any of them.
Yeah. Grab
Okay.
any model that, because some models go to makeup first.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if they go to hair or makeup first, depending on the look. Because sometimes the show, they need makeup first, or sometimes they need hair first. But if this model is not going to makeup first, I'm like, oh, I can start you now, and
Mm-hmm.
then send her to makeup, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And then each model has a look that is attached to her, right? Or him, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And how much information are you given on the look? Is it just a picture?
Now, some shows that I've done, every model had a different look. That
Mm-hmm.
model had a specific look to this model. Some shows, every model has the same exact look, or pretty much, depending on the length of their hair. So if their hair is long, if the hairstyle is designed around longer, medium length to long hair, that look is done on those models. The models who have maybe shorter hair, it's like a rendition of that look. So if it's a wave, but it's like a ponytail, and the model
Mm-hmm.
with the shorter hair doesn't have long enough hair for a ponytail, we'll just give the silhouette to emulate what the models with long hair have. So
Mm-hmm.
that way, maybe the rest of the hair is just smoothed back, and then there's a wave in the front. Yes, we add extensions because you asked me about extensions. We do add
Mm-hmm.
extensions depending on. I think we did extensions for Ralph Lauren. We just did Ralph Lauren, and I think it was in March. And some of the models got extensions because their hair may have been too fine. So we needed more weight in the hair. So we didn't necessarily add it for length, but it was for the weight. So um,
Clip-ins?
we did, we sewed it in.
Oh,
We sewed it in, yeah.
wow. And you had enough time to do that.
Yeah, the call time, the prep time is usually, again, depending on the look.
Yeah.
It's anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. Just depends on the show, the look, and the hairstyle. Yeah, if the hairstyle is more intricate, we do a lot of prep the night before.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends.
So is the model bringing those extensions home, or are you removing them at the end?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't. Yeah,
Curious.
I think they are keeping it in their hair because
I
we've never
guess,
removed
right?
extensions. No,
Right.
we've never removed extensions. I guess they're keeping it. But the teams I've worked on, we all provide the extensions. The
Sure.
leads, they provide
Right.
everything.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
but that's a good question. They pretty much walk out.
So the
Yeah,
models just get free
yeah, because you
extensions.
can't snatch hair out of people's heads. Like, come here,
Right.
girl,
I
give me
know.
that
Well, I
hair
was
back.
wondering. And I mean, it might not be, it might not be good for anybody else,
Yeah,
especially if it has a particular.
that would be
So
downright tacky.
I know, but I was wondering. So the shows where all the looks are very consistent from one model to the next, those are probably the easier ones, I would assume, because you've got your look down, and you can kind of get to the point where you're busting it out pretty much
Yeah.
from head to head,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then the ones that are individual, each model kind of has their own look. That's got to be more complicated.
I don't think that's more complicated. I think I would kind of say it, sometimes that's easier, to be honest, because sometimes to try to create the same look on so many different hair textures and so many different lengths becomes more of the challenge.
That makes
And
sense.
then most of the time we're working 99% of the time you're working on teams of two. So there's usually two hairstylists on one model. Sometimes it may be three hairstylists. So I may prep the hair. The next stylist may put the waves in. I'll set the wave, or vice versa. I'll put the waves in. They'll set the wave. So it's usually two people working on the model. But I think when everybody gets the same cohesive look, I find that more challenging because everybody's hair is so different. And if
That's a
you have
good
like
point.
40 models and everybody's hair is so different, but it all has to speak to that same fashion story, it's a lot easier when the hair is different for each model, because usually
Right.
the lead is going to pick a style that best suits this texture, best suits this facial shape, best suits
Right.
the density of the hair. You know what I mean?
Totally. No,
So
that
yeah,
makes a lot of sense now that you describe it. Are you
yeah.
coloring hair? Are you chemically treating hair?
If normally if we're coloring hair, I've done shows where we colored hair, but that's normally a prep day before. We're
Okay.
coloring hair the day before. Anything that takes any amount of time like that, the prep is usually the day before.
Hmm.
Um, Usually we've colored wigs. We're not usually coloring a model's hair, but we've done like shows. I've done shows where we colored wigs,
Hmm.
and that's usually done a day or two before.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the show happens. Let's say it's a 6 o'clock call time, 3 o'clock show. The show happens. And then after the show, what are you guys doing? What are the hairstylists doing? Just cleaning up your stuff and packing it in? Or what do you do?
We cleaning up and we're running out of there to go eat. I mean, we have food there. We have like craft services. I mean, the shows that I work on, I'm blessed to have some of the best craft services at the shows because, I'm doing more of the higher end shows now.
Yep.
Um, but sometimes people are like, I'm still hungry because they may not have what you want to eat. And then I'm vegan. So
Ah,
I know Proenza Schooler, they're vegan. So they always have
okay.
vegan. And I think all their food is vegan, if I'm not mistaken. I think their whole,
Nice.
yeah, I think everything is vegan. But yeah, usually we're ready to pass out. We're tired. Then it
Yeah.
depends because if it's the show is at 3 p.m., we still have the rest of the day. But
Yeah.
sometimes if the show is at 8 p.m., we're like exhausted. We're
Yeah.
tired,
Yeah.
trying to get food.
Right. So
Yeah.
you're on your feet the whole day. Do you ever have a stool that you can work on? Probably not. They're not going to have stools
No,
for you guys to work on.
I
So
can't. I
you're,
can't. Yeah, I can't do hair. I have to stand up and do hair. I don't. I know a lot of
yeah.
people do use stools, but it
Hmm.
slows me down a lot. So no, we don't have
Okay.
a stool. Mm-mm.
All right. So you're on your feet all day. And what's kind of funny is I'm talking about this, and I'm in an office, and a lot of my office coworkers now have the desks that go up,
Yeah.
so they stand on purpose all day, which is I guess supposed to be good for your back, but tell that to a hairstylist, and they're going to tell you you're crazy. Okay, so you're on your feet all day, and you get your thing done, and then you're out of there. Do you? I imagine you know your other teammates on the Guido team. Do you guys like go hang out, go to happy hour?
Well, we've done that. Yeah, we've gone to have dinner,
Hmm.
happy hour, hang out. We've done
Yep.
that. Yeah.
And
It's
then
always a good vibe.
I bet, and there's a sense of relief and accomplishment and all of those good things, which
But
is
sometimes
awesome.
we go right back to our hotel because we may have a 6 a.m. call time the next morning. So
Oh, for
we're
a
not
different
hanging
show.
out too much. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
hmm
so let's talk about pay. You don't have to tell us exactly what you got paid. Like for the Dior show, for example, or Ralph Lauren. But I mean, are you making the same, more or less than a good day behind the chair?
Oh, it's less.
It's less.
Yeah, definitely less. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think, I think to do runway, I think people, I've been doing this a long time and I find that the people I've met that do runway and do editorial hair, you're not necessarily doing it for money. It is a passion for fashion, the love of the whole, vibe of it. It's not like I'm doing this because I want to make a lot of money, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah. Of
mean?
course. Yeah. Of course.
hmm
And even at the top. Even
No,
at
it
the
doesn't
top.
matter. Now
Doesn't matter.
the leads get a lot of money. Yeah,
Okay.
they're the leads. They are like Guido Palau is the most legendary runway
Right.
artist in the industry,
Right.
just across the board.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right. And so Dior is paying him. He's got a brand. Guido's got a brand, and he's got the team, and Dior is paying him. And so he's got a business that he's running there. So that's a little bit of a different situation.
Right.
And if you can get if you can develop yourself into somebody who has that kind of a brand that, an LVMH company wants to hire to do,
Yeah.
then you can make that great money too.
Absolutely.
All right. So what percentage of your career on an annual basis these days is spent doing these types of editorial things versus behind the chair?
Oh, that's a good question. Hmm.
And
Uh,
maybe it's some months like in spring you have a lot of editorial, but then maybe towards the end of the year, like in the
yeah,
holidays season, you're doing a lot behind the chair. Is that how it works?
sort of. Like show season, for Runway is February and
Mm-hmm.
September every year. Um, and then show season for like the hair shows that I do, that's from, when does that start? June, like May or June? No, March. IBS is in March. Okay, so like from
Mm-hmm.
March to August.
Mm-hmm.
So from the
Okay.
beginning of the year until like September. No, because Fashion Week is in September. I know like everything slows down a little bit around holiday, like
Right.
November, December, October
Mm-hmm.
starts to, because we don't usually do, we're not doing Runway. Um, and typically the hair shows are over.
Okay. And so you work at a salon in Philly?
Yeah,
Okay. And you have clientele, and how do they work around your schedule?
they are phenomenal. Oh my, I could not ask for better clients. They are so phenomenal. Why? Because I'm like, oh, I just got booked for this and I'm not going to be here. I have to be in LA. So, hey, can you come next Friday instead of
And how much notice are you giving
it's
them?
not easy. I will say that. It's not it just depends. Sometimes see when I get my schedule, and I'm a Virgo, so I'm super anal about scheduling and timing, and
Okay.
I'm super organized. So when I get my schedule, the beginning of the year, I start blocking out my schedule ahead of time, right? So those clients who I see regularly every 6 weeks on Friday, I know that, oh, I won't be here then. So I can give them an advance heads up. Um, Sometimes I'll know a month in advance. Sometimes I'll find out 2 days in advance. It
Oh
just
no.
depends.
Yeah.
Like it's not, it just depends. Like literally, I found out about things. I got booked for something that was on a Friday. I found out on Wednesday. Boom. I had to be in LA on Friday or whatever. But, I'm telling you, I am very blessed to have the clients. My clients are my biggest cheerleaders, besides my family, of course. They support me. They're always super excited for me. They're always like, oh my God, you get to work with such and such, or oh my God, you're doing it. So they're pretty much very flexible.
Wow.
And I'm super
That's
grateful.
Yeah, I bet. I
Yeah.
bet. And it's taken you how long to I mean, most of your clients have been your clients for how long?
I have clients who I've been doing for 20 years. I have clients that I've
Mm-hmm.
been doing for 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for my clients, all of them.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
the ones that have been with me since 20, 25 years ago, I'm just like, it's amazing.
yeah.
They
It
watch me
is.
grow up,
Mm-hmm.
or I
Mm-hmm.
watch them grow up. A lot of my clients, I watch them
Mm-hmm.
grow up.
Yeah.
I've done like their, um, what is it, middle school dance, and then their prom, and then
Mm-hmm.
their graduation, and then their wedding, and their,
Wow.
yeah. So
That's amazing.
I love it. I love my clients. I have the
Yeah.
most amazing, I really service the most amazing people.
Yeah.
Just gracious,
That's
gracious. Yeah.
very fortunate for
Yeah.
that.
Very.
All right. So when you get a job, um, do you get the job through an agent or just you've developed a reputation, and how does this work?
Well, I had an agent My first agent I had, I think it was like in about 10 years ago. Um, I'm not with her anymore, but most of the bookings I've gotten have been through word of mouth,
Hmm.
through me working, because you know I work with people from all over the world, makeup artists, photographers, and I've gotten so many opportunities for jobs through the teams I've worked with. So yeah, like the photographers, like I'm recommending you for this. The makeup artists, like they need a hairstylist for this. Oh, hire Kia Sterling. So I've been very, very blessed in that area. Currently, Kia Neal, founder of Texture versus Race, she
Yeah,
just
I know
started an
Kia.
agency. Yeah, she
Oh,
just started
she.
an agency. Yeah, so
Okay.
she's like my brand new agent, and I'm so excited. Yeah,
Oh, very cool.
yeah,
What a great idea. Go Kia. I love that.
yeah.
Kia's been on the Hair Game podcast,
I know.
at least one episode, maybe more. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Can't keep track of it all. But
I think she's been on here
um,
twice.
yeah, yeah, that makes, I
Yeah,
mean,
'cause I think I watched both
entirely
of them.
possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Kia is a newly NAHA winner for Educator
Whoop,
of the
whoop.
Year.
I saw that. I saw that. Congratulations, Kia. Shout out to her
Yes,
for the NAHA award.
so
Awesome.
proud of her.
So she started an agency, and this is an agency for editorial,
No, just artist. Period. Creative artist.
creative artists, period.
Hmm.
Okay, very
Not necessarily
interesting.
editorial.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Hmm.
very good.
So it's still her
All right,
new baby. So you know.
so she's representing you.
Yeah. Hmm.
Very, very cool. All right, so I imagine a lot of this world within our industry that you're navigating really successfully right now. It's a lot of it is reputational. You get to know people, and a lot of that is being present online, is being present with an Instagram account. Putting your stuff up there. People are able to keep up with what you're doing, and so are you on TikTok? Just Instagram.
I have a TikTok, but I don't talk as much as I
Yeah,
should tick.
yeah. Well, I don't tick or
Yeah, I
talk. I
just
mean,
can't. I
I've
mean, it's so weird. I'm so weird. I use TikTok for reviews. Like if I want to, like, say if I want to travel somewhere, I'll look
okay.
up the hotel. I'll look up a restaurant. I'll look up a beauty product. I use
Yeah,
TikTok for that. Social media is a lot. I used to be so good at it, but I just feel like the busier you get, the
yeah.
harder it becomes.
Oh my God,
And Instagram,
it's
I'm not gonna sit here and say social media did not help me. Social media has like made my career basically, but it's not easy.
not
It's a
easy.
lot. It's a lot.
I have to admit, I've completely failed recently at all social media. Just completely failed. I just literally do not have the time. I mean, is it like, am I going to make a post on Instagram, or am I going to eat? And I haven't
Right.
eaten in 6 hours. So
Yes.
I'm going to eat.
Yes.
And my life has not made it possible. Now, all the experts, listeners, I can hear you chirping in my ear right now. You're like, but just automate it on blah, blah, blah. And we
Yeah.
do that at Salon Republic. We have, social media people, and we automate things. And then we have a lot of things we don't automate. We do it by hand.
Yeah.
But they could probably do my Instagram, but I just haven't wanted them to do that.
Hmm.
I totally get it. And you with the ticking and the talking, not ticking or talking. I'm not. I posted a couple things on there, and I'm like, they got some decent views. It was literally
Right.
me just looking at the thing,
Yeah.
and not even saying anything. I don't even think I said anything. But I can't. I just don't have the
Yeah.
time to do it.
Yeah. I just
So
think it's too. I just don't think we need not like threads. We had Twitter. Why did
yeah.
we need threads? Like I just
Well,
don't understand why we need all this. Instagram is amazing. Why did we need
yeah.
TikTok? Sorry, I said that,
Yeah.
but
No, well, no. I
Twitter
mean,
is amazing. Why did we need threads?
yeah.
From my understanding, is very similar. If it ain't broke,
Well, it was
don't fix
supposed to
it.
be. I mean, I'm the wrong guy to ask because first of all, I don't tweet. I mean, I have a Twitter account, but I don't know if I haven't tweeted in years.
Yeah, I used to be addicted to Twitter. Oh my God, I love
Yeah,
Twitter.
I know, and I do get on there. I don't get on there proactively. Somebody sends me something that they want me to see, so I click
Yeah.
on it. Next thing you know, I'm in Twitter land, but there's Twitter is it was owned by Jack Dorsey, and then became a public company, and then they weren't very successful. I don't think they ever made any money, and then Elon Musk bought them, and there's a lot of people who love Elon Musk and a lot of people who hate Elon Musk. So the people who hate Elon Musk are going to be like, we're going to do a new version of posting comments. And then Mark Zuckerberg, as if he isn't rich enough, comes up with Threads. He's the Facebook, Instagram guy, right?
Yeah.
He comes up with Threads, and he wants to take all that business from X. It's not even Twitter anymore. It's
right.
X, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
So
See how
so
late
did
I am. I forgot. It's X.
Same, which is stupid because everybody calls it Twitter still.
Still, nobody
calls it X.
Twitter sounds so much doper and flyer than X.
I know. X is stupid. X is stupid.
Yeah.
And I would say that I'm more of a liker of Elon Musk than a not liker of Elon Musk. I'm certainly not like a fanboy or anything, but
right.
But I think it's really stupid to rename it anyway.
Yeah.
So now Mark Zuckerberg's trying to take that business. I don't know if that's been successful at all, but I don't know.
I think they're bored billionaires. I just think they're all bored.
Well, I think that that they have a bunch of people. They're public companies. They're all public. Well, except X. X is not a public company, but Facebook or Meta now is a public company, and they have shareholders that they're beholden to who get mad at them. And if their numbers go down quarter over quarter, then the stock price gets slammed, and then there's all this bad reputation that develops, and so there's a lot of pressure on these guys to keep making money, and that's really what it is.
True.
It's all about making money, and the reality for me is that my attention is better spent in other places these days.
Yeah.
Maybe one day soon, but for somebody who has a clientele, needs to develop a clientele, it is still very important for somebody to spend their time on there. And
absolutely,
you've taken great advantage of it. Which is fantastic. You've got a clientele, so maybe you don't need to build necessarily right now, but it is what it is. We all have a love-hate with it, I think.
Well, I'm always building, but it's just, it's hard. I'm not even going, like, anybody that says it's not hard. And see, I think what's important to me that's not important to other people, it's a personal life. Mm-hmm. So I think people think, social media and work, but what happened to self-care, self-love, family?
Absolutely.
That is important, and nobody talks about that. So I'm like,
I'd rather my eating comment.
Yeah, like I'd rather go hang out with my family than be on Instagram all night.
Right.
Sorry.
I know.
But I also understand Instagram because, again, when I first started out, 2010, 11, I was not on social media, and then I got on social media. And social media really helps me. So we need it. It's not that we don't need it, but I'm not living on it. I'm just not living on it. Maybe I'm not supposed to make that money today. I'm not living on social media. I'm not. I used to, but I just don't want to live there anymore because I have so many other things that I miss. Graduations, stuff, family stuff, friend stuff. I hate going out with my friends and everybody's on Instagram at dinner.
Oh my gosh, shoot me in the face. You should check in your phone. This is something we do with our kids. Now, I have, my kids and you with your friends, totally different situations. But with the kids, we try to get them to put their phones, when they come over to the house, we try to get them to put their phones in a tray. And trying to get their phone is like trying to remove their arm because it's almost like they live to go from one scroll to the next scroll. And they'll spend, I think the average hours that are being spent on the phone by young people these days is frightening. It's like several hours a day.
It is.
And it's just so frightening. And so when the kids or you and your friends or me and my friends are together, you should be together. You shouldn't be scrolling. And it's kind of a default reflex that I see in some people. If, I don't know, the conversation isn't exactly what they want to be talking about, well, they're going to pick up their phone and they're going to start scrolling their own thing, versus like conversing with each other.
It's crazy because I remember I went to go see Beyonce last year. I'll never forget. Me and one of my coworkers, actually, he's the owner of the salon where I work, and the team that I work with, we all went to see Beyonce together, and we were filming her on stage, and we were dancing and all excited. And at one point, I had to put my phone down because it's a different experience looking at it through a camera than watching her on stage. 100%. And I said, "Why am I filming? Like I have 9 million videos in my phone, and I'm not experiencing anything. So I'm watching it through the video. I'm like, this is weird." So I don't know. It's now, like I said before, it has to be a balance. That's all. Yeah, it just has to be a balance. And the phone is very addictive. Yeah. Social media is so addictive. I find myself in bed at night scrolling on. I'm like, go to sleep.
I know.
It's like crack in the phone. It's something that trust me, we're all addicted. And it's hard to wean yourself off because you're like, where's my phone? Yeah. Like if you spend 5 minutes sitting still, you're like, where's my phone?
It's a reflex. And you have to kind of get control back over your time and attention. Yeah. But the reality is they know exactly what we like to see. And each of us likes to see something a little bit different. And they know exactly what we want to see. And
they have studied us.
For that reason, it's, I call it the most powerful, consumer device ever devised because they know exactly what we want to see. Okay, we don't have to get into it anymore. It's just, it's very frustrating. Yeah. We'll see what happens. 5 years from now, we'll see where the whole thing
I know.
And it'll be pretty interesting to see. And as my kids grow up, it'll be interesting to see how they navigate it. Right now, though, whenever there's a social environment and there's people, there's other kids, inevitably there's a group of them gathered around one of them who has their phone. Yeah. And it's just, it's so frustrating. Mm-hmm. So it seems like you've got everything dialed in pretty well in Kia Sterling world. So what keeps you up at night these days?
I don't have any. I might appear like I have it all together, but I don't. And to make you laugh even harder, nothing keeps me up because when I tell you, if I think about the bed, I'm asleep. I'm like, as soon as my head hits that pillow, I'm like, I'm out of it. That's like, awesome. But I'll wake up early thinking about stuff, but not. Yeah. I'm not really, I do kind of hang out late sometimes. I'm on this mission to become an early morning person. I'm on a mission. I have to get up every day. I want to start to get up every day at like 4:30, 5 o'clock and go to bed. I know. I do. But you know what it is? When I do wake up really early, I get so much done. Yeah. I don't get as much done as I do when I wake up at like 6 or 7. I just don't. Yeah. But the thing is, you got to go to bed early.
Got to go to bed.
And that's my challenge. One of my friends.
That's the trade-off.
He goes to bed every night. I don't know how he does this, but he goes to bed like every night, like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And he's up in a spin class at 5 a.m. before he goes to work. Like, I'm like, I want to be you when I grow up. But no, I can't always be in the bed sometimes I'm on like Zoom calls at 8 p.m. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's of course. It's hard.
Well, it's however you got to fit it in your life, in a reasonable way. He doesn't have Zoom calls at 8 o'clock at night, so he can go to bed. He does?
He does, yeah.
Well, how is he on Zoom? Is he on Zoom calls in the bed?
He's
holding the
asleep.
Phone up?
He's on a call falling asleep.
He takes Zoom calls in his bed. That's interesting. I've never heard of that.
He's not in the bed, but he's
He's close. He's
close.
next to his bed.
He's yeah next to it. And me, I'm
So,
not. I'm like fully dressed up, wild, like
yeah,
yeah.
I
But
mean,
that's my plan.
my wife goes to bed at, probably 11 on average. I
Yeah.
go to bed before she does, but her being up keeps me up, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And then I have these two little kids, and their mission in life is to stay up all night, like every
Yes.
night. Every night they aspire to being up all night. And so they're still too young for me to just leave them, and so
Mhm.
it's them being up causes me to be up, and my wife being up the same. And so our lifestyle, I mean, we eat at 7:30,
Yeah.
7:30 to 8:15 or whatever, and then you got things to do, and naturally it just leads to me going to bed at 10:30 at night is typically
Yeah.
what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not bad. 10
No.
30 is not bad. That's not bad.
No.
It's actually
No,
very
it isn't.
good.
All
Yeah.
right. So if I handed you a wand, the Kia Sterling wand, and you are the queen of the beauty industry, and you can change anything about the industry at all, what would it be?
What would it be? Um, I know. I don't even know why I had to think about this. Definitely more diversity and inclusion in every aspect of the industry across the board. Film, television, um, editorials, runway, salons, shows, every aspect. Every
Mm-hmm.
aspect. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that would just be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you said Guido, he's at the top of the mountain, probably,
Yeah.
within editorial hair. And so he's got a team of texture experts on his team now. And is this a relatively new thing? Like 10 years ago, would he have had a Kia Sterling on there? Would he have had, a texture expert on his team at Dior?
I have no idea. I've been on the team 3 years, but some of my other teammates that specialize in texture been there 7 years, 8 years.
Yeah.
So but Guido is probably one of the few teams that I've ever worked on that I can think of off the top of my head where he specifically hires texture specialists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Any
Yeah.
last words for the community?
Last words for the community. Well, this might sound corny, but because everybody says this, believe in yourself. Um, that's like the number one. But I think it's important because so many people don't. I talk to
Yeah.
so many people on a regular basis, and they're like, well, I don't think I can do that. And I'm like, but why don't you think you can? And then, people like maybe me or other successful people look like we just have it together. And we don't. We do not. I just watched a video earlier today, this big influencer that I follow, and she was talking about how she has nothing together. Like, we make it look good online,
Yeah.
but behind the scenes, we don't have it together. So it's okay not to have it together.
Yeah.
And just believe that you are capable of doing it and just start.
Yeah.
Like, that's two important
You just
things.
got to
Start.
start.
Yeah, start
Yeah.
and start scared.
Yeah.
Start
Scared.
unprepared. If you
Yeah.
don't have the best camera, if you don't have the best phone, just start. Figure it out.
I mean, and that's phenomenal advice. And yeah, it sounds cliche and corny, but it's cliche and corny because it's great advice.
Yeah.
And I think about, as you're talking, I'm relating those words to my own experience with my own life. And I am so rarely prepared for anything. I mean, prepared as much as I could possibly be.
Yeah.
Almost nothing. The
Yeah.
reality of today's world is there's so much coming at us that you have to juggle this stuff as well as you can. Some of the balls are going to fall, and that's okay because you can bend down and pick them up. And,
Yeah.
one ball falling from your juggling isn't the end of the world. The ball isn't made of glass. The balls are made of rubber. There's some
Mm.
kind of metaphor here. There's a book title out of that somewhere. But you don't expect things to be perfect when you start something. Don't expect it to be perfect halfway through. Don't
Yeah.
expect it to ever be perfect. Maybe there was a time when, before we had like cell phones, probably, and this like enormous flow of communication, when you could feel like, yeah, I've got my taxes in line. I responded to my wife. I know where I'm going to eat. My parents are in good shape, all these types of things. And so there are bits of time when you felt like it was all together. Nowadays, with the mass amount of information and communication, it's pretty chaotic. I think that you just try to get used to the chaos and
Yeah.
don't let any of that chaos creep into your doubts about yourself and your ability to do things.
Because I'm always around people that are like, I don't think I can. I'm like, why? You can. Just you gotta just do it, and you
You
gotta
got
do
to
it
just do
scared.
it.
And if it's not the best, so be it. Do
It's
it
not going to be the
again.
best. It's not going to
Right.
be the
It's going to
best.
get better every
Yeah,
time. It's going to
that's
get
right.
better every time. Trust me. The
It's
more you
not going
do,
to be the
the
best.
more you do anything, you're going to get better at it.
Yes,
You know?
100%. All
Yeah.
right. Well, great advice. Kia Sterling, you're Kia Sterling Hair, KIA, on
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes.
And I loved having these 2 episodes with you. And
Thank
I
you.
hope
I
to
enjoyed
meet
myself, Eric.
you. Good. I'm glad. And I hope to see you in person one day, maybe at a hair show
Yes.
or something.
Yes. Hopefully, I will be at what's the next show coming up? What am IBS Vegas, June
Oh,
20
I'm Las
June
Vegas.
22nd through the 24th with
I
texture
can't make
with
it.
my Texture versus Race family.
Boom. With
Yeah.
Kia with her award fresh
Yes.
off the stage.
We are so excited about that. I'm telling you.
I bet. I bet.
Yeah.
You have a lot to be proud about, and so
Yeah.
does she.
That was exciting.
Awesome, Kia. Thank you.
Thank you.